HPHS. Now we're in the process of explaining, still the process of explaining how Hashem das Tachten is also emes. So he had a few ways a few sources to explain it. Number one, it said that Shem Elikim is a mile den ketz. Hagvur sheben sof, Esther, or the Tato. Now, around the middle of the page, Peches, Vezehu, the Besef Maise Bereishes, Niska Rak Elikim. That's Mahumas in the fact that in the story of Maise Bereishes, in the beginning of Chumash Bereishes, it discusses the story of creation. Niska Rak Elikim, as we all know, that from the beginning, Bereishes Bar Elikim, Til HaShabbar Elikim Lases, the only name of the Abish is mentioned, Shem Elikim. So the Seif. So in the end of the Parsha of Bereshis, that talks of the Chelik of Ma'aser Bereshis, story of Ma'aser Bereshis, that talks about creation of Shem Elikim. So the last three words, the Remes and the word Emes, Ashabor Elikim Lases, Sefer Teves Emes. The last three words, Ashabor Elikim Lases, the last letters of each word is Aleph Mem Tov, which is Emes, L'Rames Shagam Ashniv Meshem Elikim Nikprinas Datachna is Emes. So we know that Shem Elikim is also Emes. But the truth, but again, first we say that it's Emes, that it's true. But still, there's still Das Elyon is a higher view than Das Tach. Shebe'emes is Kama Madrigas. Truth is, I'm not sure higher. It's different. Emes itself has various levels. Mas faz emes, emes la'amit, ve'emes la'amit. So we learned the first time. I touched faz emes, the language of truth. With that simple pshat and pasuk. Faz emes tikkun lad, v'ad agia l'shen shoker. That's faz emes is forever, and l'shen shoker stops. But Mendy pointed out that the word faz can also mean edge, the edge of truth. Okay, maybe that's also pshat. According to faz emes is the madriga below Emes Lamit, which causes the fact that the Madrig is an Emes, we have another source for that concept. Because Makamacher be'inyan Titan Emes Liyakev. Pasuk says Titan Emes Liyakev Chesed Lavo. What is Emes? What is Emes Liyakev? Because Yaakov is Tiferes. There's Chesed Gvur Tiferes. Yaakov is Emes. Yaakov is Tiferes. Midas Tiferes, Midas Emes. That's what it says, and that's simple. That's how the Zohar learns Pshat and Tina Emes Liyakev. So of course, so Malka Macha and other places of cities that discusses Chesed Gvur. In Emes Chas V'Shalom. What do you mean? The Chesed Gvur of Yaakov for Avraham Nitzchak, not Emes. רק שבאמת יש כמה מדרגות. I'm sorry. גם הם Emes. רק שאין Emes La'amite. No what? The fact that only Yaakov is called Emes because the Emes of Chesed and Gvur is not the ultimate truth. So it has a limited truth. What does it mean? It explains. The concept of Emes means truth means something that prevails everywhere. Ashek and Chesed and Gvur, they have a contradicting, an opposing sphere that opposes them. The Chesed midas Gvur and Nagid law, Gvur and Nagid is Chesed. So Chesed and Gvur oppose each other. The male Lamida and Nagid is Mefnachah. So according from each perspective, from the perspective of judgment, kindness has to be limited. From the perspective of kindness, judgment has to be limited. The male in Cain, it's not the ultimate truth. But ultimate truth is something that prevails everywhere. That's the meaning of truth. Truth is something that's everywhere the same. B'meile, Aval Midas Harach, Mashenk Tiferes is called Emes. The Midas Harach is not contradicted by Chesed and Gvur because it allows both. It allows Chesed and it allows Gvur. Now, Midas Chesed U'Shoroi Lashpo. Midas Chesed, the attribute of kindness means that it looks at everybody that he deserves to the flow of kindness. So everybody is deserved. Maybe it's a gvur contradicts chesed. Gvur says no, he has to be judged, he has to be holy, he has to be deserving. Avo midas harachim u'shenoisem makom le'esadin. Shabidin einem enagiloi. Midas harachim doesn't contradict midas the stand of midas adin that according to its judgment, the Kabbalah doesn't deserve. No, was Midas Harachim says we know that he doesn't deserve, but we still have to have most. I'm asking Midas Adin. Midas Adin agrees that he doesn't deserve. Now, so there's no real contradiction. That is why Midas Atiferes called Emes Lamita, because neither Chesed nor Gvur contradicts Harachim. Mele, Zel de Nachlas Yaakov in Nachal Bli Mitzorim. That's what the Gemara says in Shabbos. Nachlas Yaakov Avina Nachal Bli Mitzorim, like it says in Pasuk. Faratz Yom Avokeidim Tzafayim Avanegba. There's no limits to this legacy. Why? Because the Gvur Kolachan Magbas Abin Office. It just repeats the same point. That the other two midas, Chesed and Gvur, Avam and Yitzchak, see, each one limits the other. Tiferes Shein Menagel is a place bigger. So we see, so that discussion just shows us how an emes gufa does madrigas. He started saying this. It's fast emes lamita. We see that in the discussion that talks about the pasuk tet and emes Yaakov. That Yaakov is emes. It doesn't mean that chesed, the chesed and gvur are not emes, but here's a higher level of emes lamita. Now it says even something deeper. Because of tet and emes Yaakov, the truth there's even a higher level than emes lamita. Why does it? You have to give to Yaakov emes. It means Yaakov itself is emes lamita already. What do you mean tit and emes Yaakov? What does it mean? What's Yaakov? Mashman tifesh shemidas emes from Moshe Kosav and Safim is emes dois vov. So it means in another source that it says in pasuk Nesatam le'is emes. I see. What does that say? So the Zohar says is emes dois vov, which is midas atiferes. 1 second, let me see. 1 second.
Yossi Rabashkin says, Emes is Arash Tevis, Ani Meshakir Talmud.
Yeah, okay. yeah, I remember that. That has to do with okay. Okay, now he's talking in the real world. Now we're talking about Madrigas. So in this is the story of R'Dovid. R'Dovid with Meraglim, Isha and Kalev. So R'Dovid told the Meraglim, "Satam li ois emes." Says the Zohar Pshat, ois emes means ois vov, which is midas emes. I don't know why it was in here. Why is it being in here all of a sudden? The point is tzrichem li. Oh, but it says in the satam li. I don't know. Much, you know what? It's an interesting point. You have to investigate why it's possible. Tzrichem liten lo emes. Even emes, even Yaakov, who is emes, tzrichem liten lo emes. There's a higher level than emes, which is even higher than emes la'amit, higher than tiferes. Who? Chinas tikun ve'emes. Upon a Messiah, then blitzin some class. The Gimel Midas Harachim, which are called in Kabbalah, the Gimel Tikkunei Dikna, the 13 strands of the beard, which are, like I said various times, the Kabbalah compares the Gimel Midas Harachim to the Gimel Tikkunei Dikna, and one of the Gimel Midas Harachim, Hashem Keil Ha'erech Hapayim, V'Rav Chesed Ve'emes. So one of the Gimel Midas Harachim Tikkunei Dikna, which are which is above Ishtarshalus, above Tiferes Datzilus. So one of the Tikkunim is Tikkun ve'emes. So that is Aponim Messiahs. So that's another point that, like we say, in the face, the Gimel Tikkun Dikna. There's one of the Tikkun is Panim is Cyrus. Like I think it's the cheeks. I'm not sure. One of the it's clear of here because here Cyrus is the evidence and symptom like we learn in my memory. I schenke the Madreg of Emes is Panim is Cyrus, which means bleed symptom cloud. The Midas at the first, they just explained the Hag. The Midas at the first, we call Makom Chalas as fierce. The Midas at the first, which you just said, is Emes Lamita, it's still one of the Essas fierce. I'm taking the Emes, I'm sure I shall learn the Prince Symptom cloud. The Madreg of Emes, from the Tikkun of the Emes is above spheres. Because there's no Cyrus, there's not symptom.
So that's how is it? I'm sorry, that so I think the MS is Vav because we says the MS.
Yes. According, I think I remember. Yes, said Yash Mashuk there, but here it says different lines. Satan SMS there is Vav, and then it says Varach Chesed VMS, but it's not. And Satan SMS is Tiferes. Satan it says there is Vav. Here it says Varach Chesed VMS. I think the VMS of the Tikkun, the Vav has to do something with it.
I'm just trying to understand why saying that Os Emet, the Os Vav. That's what I'm trying to understand.
Vav is Tiferes. We say in Pasach Eliyot, Tiferes Gufa. The body is the Vav. Tiferes Gufa. So it's just, again, like I said, I'm not sure why reason punkt that Remez here. That Remez, that SMS, says in Kabbalah there is Vav. That SMS is Tiferes. It just said earlier that Tiferes is Emet. You already said earlier that, what did he say? The Midas at Tiferes and Midas Emes. Right on top. So he could have said over there, with Tiferes Midas Emes, but because of Bezoya, on Satan Midas Emes, though it's Vav. He could have said it there. I don't know why he says it here. I mean, obviously it's B'dir, but I'm not sure why he brings it here. But now the Vav of the Emes are also connected, but he doesn't talk about it here. Because of Kolzeh. 1 second.
So this is the Rachamim. This is Rachamim, right? This is higher. This is higher than Rachamim.
It's not Rachamim of Atzilus. It's Gimel Midas Rachamim. It's higher level.
Right. Okay.
With the Rabbi, he said, then there's even another source. The Gimel Tikkun Dikna is an Arichantin. That's what it says inside. The Madrega for Arichantin, you have to give it Tikkun Dikna. And either Rabbi in Zohar says even more than that. The whole Emes in Atika Kaddish. The Emes comes even higher than the Gimel Tzachim. It's in the Madrega of Tika Kaddish. The less smaller Bahaya Tika. It's an expression in Zohar. Less small. There's no left. There's no judgment in Atik. Everything is good. So the Emes is even. I think it's a higher Madrega than Emes. Meshakot of Kolzeh. He calls it Bebir Elamasa. So you got the Torah. And you got the Torah Bamidbar. In the Maimar Elamasa discusses all these Madregas and Emes. Okay, so again, sometimes in this Maimar he discusses Barichas, a thing that's just a side issue. But so when we finished discussing at this point, he was bringing out how Shem Elokim is also Emes. No, Shem Elokim is a low Madrega in Emes. There's a few Madregas in Emes. There's Fats Emes, Emes Lamita, and then he brought later there's a higher Madrega, Emes of the Gimel Tzachim, even a higher Madrega, Emes of Atika Kaddish. So all these are Madregas and Emes. But when they get to the point, when they get to what he brings out here, is that even the lowest Madrega is Mikomokim Gam Shem Elokim Shegemat Teva Gam Ken Emes. The point that he wants to make here is that the Shem Elokim, which is the lower level, the Das Tachton is also Emes. The Shorshoy, so that's Shem Elokim Teva. Shorshoy, then he brings another source. Mepchinas Elokim the Bina Shnik Elokim Chayim Melech Haolam. No, when you say that says in Kabbalah, say in Davening, Elokim Chayim Melech Haolam. Kabbalah says Elokim Chayim is Bina, Elokim Stam is Gvur. Elokim means Tzimtzum. The Sheres Agvor is in Bina, and Bina is not Stam Elokim, it's Elokim Chayim. It's a higher level of Elokim. Bina Gamkin das Tachton, which is bad. So later he'll explain, we'll talk about that different Chachma and Bina, sometimes Chachma and Bina, Chachma is das Tachton and Bina is das Tachton. But mainly, that's also Elokim. Now, there's another point. He doesn't actually bring here explicitly, but another place of Chassidus, we always say we said in Gemara that there was Beishamai Beisil disagreed, and what do we answer? Eilu v'eilu divrei Elokim Chaim. Both are Elokim Chaim in the sense that both are true. They're both God's words, both godly words. No vos Allah Beisil. So in that sense, that's what it means Elokim Chaim. It means it's not the highest level of emes, but it's emes because Allah is emes lamite. The Elokim Chaim is emes stam. So it's another. He doesn't develop it more. He doesn't elaborate his point, but it's all showing that Elokim stam is also emes, and the shiur of Elokim Chaim, that which is also Bina, is also emes. So the bottom line from this whole discussion is that stuff is also emes. Okay, so we just going a step back. Earlier he said in the page, where was it? Earlier in page, what was it? First time he brought this concept. That the Elokim gematria teva. The Elokim is teva. Where was it? Right here on top. Yeah, on top of this page actually. In the sixth line of the page, it says, "Das Tach Hashem Elokim, Elokim gematria teva." The Elokim is that madrega Elokus which gives highest, which is teva. It says, "In the lashon teva, what is the pshat? What's the meaning of the word teva?" In English, we have the word nature, but in Hebrew, the word teva is a b'shas. Chacham Tzvi writes in this tshuva, Shu Shem Mechudash. The term teva is really a new, an invented word term. From the latter Chachamim. It's not something which we know from the early. So I looked up. I said in the source of this mimer, it says the source of the mimer is the mimer of Maharaj. So he says it says shloish shana. We got that number. What exactly shloish shana means? Maybe that's what it says in Chacham Tzvi. I didn't look up Chacham Tzvi, but this mimer, what's the mimer? Mizmel l'soida tofei shlametes. Over there it says that the term teva, the Chacham Tzvi writes, it's 300 years old. It's a new term. We don't find it in Shas. We don't find it in the earlier sources. Was meint das, Doctor?
In Torah also no.
What?
In Chumash also we don't see.
Not in Chumash. For sure not in Chumash. But even in Chachamim, it's not Chachamim Rishonim, it's not in Shas, it's not in the Rishonim, it's Chachamim Achronim. The Be'emes, why? What's the reason for that? The Be'emes eine shayach te'inyan teva klal. The concept of teva, nature, nature means that things run on their own, like a clock. You just set it up and it runs on its own. It's not true. The akamita is bar. The truth is that everything is derived from the Eibishter. Mishakosuf, we say in Pasuk, we say every day in davening, in Lukas, look at Zamra, Amachasa Shamayim Ba'ovin, the Eibishter covers the heaven, the skies with clouds, Amechin La'aretz Matar, and he prepares rain for the ground. Amatzmiach Harim Chotze. He grows on the mountains. He grows this type of Chotze. So what does it mean that the Eibishter does it? It's not teva. It's not like some kind of built-in clock. No, it's that's how the Chacham Tzvi explains why the word teva is really something. It's something which was invented as a word to describe reality the way it seems to us, but it's not true. The truth is that everything is from the Eibishter. Teva.
So the fact that he's saying Amchas Shemayim B'Ovim, meaning that what? This is just okay. This is a rain. I'm not saying that.
Rain is a nature.
The reason he's bringing the sentence.
the pasuk shows us that we don't say there's a nature. The Rebbe just turned down the clock and he went Chaviyahol away, and it just goes on its own. He acts. It's an act of God. Everything that happens, every natural phenomenon is not something that happens on its own, but it's an intentional act of God, what we call in modern terms. The Rebbe covers the heaven with clouds. It's not something that happens on its own. So maybe the concept of nature, that's all the Chacham Tzvi says. I can call it nature. The is both. So the truth is that everything is miracles, but the reason to us it seems like it's on its own because it's constant miracles. That's pshat number one in Teva. Yesterday, stop. I want to bring it in. Yesterday I saw the Ramban, the famous Ramban in Parshas Boy, in Chumash Parshas Boy. I'll bring it in on the WhatsApp. So the Ramban says something it's a very famous Ramban. Ramban says, why is it so important for us to remember let me see. I want to find the Lashon of the Ramban here. One second. He repeats it in the other places also, but it doesn't. Wow, 1 second. Yeah, here it is. Okay. In Parshas Boy says, where is it? The reason why we have to remember Yetzias Mitzrayim says, look, the Lashon Ramban, very interesting, that we have to remember the Rebbe created the world, and the world means he controls everything. That's the Lashon Ramban. Minanissim, that's an important Lashon. Minanissim agdolim amufosomim odam moide benissim anistorim. From the fact that we see the great miracles, because it's Yetzias Mitzrayim, remember the Rebbe created the miracles. Odam moide benissim anistorim. So person admits that there's hidden miracles. She'ein yiseda Torah kula. The emunah nisam nistam, the emunah that everything that happens to us is hidden miracles. This is the foundation of Torah. She'ein lo, it's a very, very powerful statement, the Ramban. She'ein lo odam chelik b'teras Moshe Rabbeinu. Person does not have take a part in the Moshe Rabbeinu's Torah. Ad shenamin b'chol dvareinu mikreinu shekulam nisim. Unless we believe that everything that happens to us constantly is all miracles. Ein boem teva. There's no nature there. Ein boem teva minoge shaloilom. There's no such thing as nature and minoge shaloilom. Bein ba'avi, bein b'yachim. That's a very actually you see that he uses the word teva, ein boem teva. So the Ramban, the Chacham Tzvi, the Ramban was. So he already uses the word teva in the Ramban. Let's see. So Chacham Tzvi lived in he lived in he lived in the Tofs. He was born Tof Yud Ches. He was born in Nifto Tof Ein Ches. That's Chacham Tzvi. And the Ramban lived. The Ramban lived in Tof Kuf Nun Dalet. Sorry, Hey Alofim Lamed. It's really like 400 years before the you live 400 years before the Chacham Tzvi. So I'm talking understand. Maybe that's why the Rebbe Rashab changes the Lashon. I don't know. The Marashas Maimon says Shloish Me'es Shon. It's an interesting observation. It's not so important in understanding the concept. But the Ramban uses the Lashon Teva, that the Ein, like I said, Ein lo Adam chelak b'teres Moshe Rabbeinu ad shenamin v'chol dvareinu mikreinu. We should believe everything that happens to us. Shekulam nisim ein b'em teva minoge shalom. Everything that happens to us is miracles. Okay.
Could you post that Rambam, please?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so it's a very long Ramban. It talks. It's the Ramban is soft Pashas boy. It talks about the top is by the national. Okay, let's put the Ramban here. But it's closer to the end. It's a very famous Ramban. Everybody, it's one of the sages of Yemuna that Ramban expresses. Second, what is it now? Yeah, okay. I posted the whole Ramban. It's a very long Ramban, but I'm also going to take out the list. Okay. The list, the expression I cap from there. All right. Okay. So this is important Ramban. But now the Chacham Tzvi, so Chacham Tzvi says, Sha'akel Nisim. So what does Teva mean? So basically, according to Ramban, to the Chacham Tzvi, Teva is really a hidden thing. So, okay, going back to our point, true, the Chacham Tzvi is the one, by the way, who says he's also the source of the expression of the Kim B'Gematria Teva. There's also, let's see, I think he's one, he's like quality of Sidus, one of the early sources.
Techufim means hidden, correct?
What?
Techufim. Nisim techuf. Nisim techufim.
Why is it, what? Why is it
Constant, the kufim.
Constant. Techufim means constant.
When did the Chacham Tzvi live?
In Amsterdam, in Europe somewhere. He moved
around what kufa? By the Baal Shem Tov?
I just said he was in the time of the Tofs, which means before about like 100 years before the Baal Shem Tov. He died Tov Ayin Ches. The Baal Shem Tov was born Tov Nun Ches. Around the time of the Baal Shem Tov. He lived in. I mean, he moved around. In the end, he was. Where was in the end? In Amsterdam. Mm-hmm. Amsterdam, and then he was in Emden. Bianca of Emden was his son. Mm-hmm. And then he moved to England, in London also. He had there's all interesting stories about him. But so he's the one who invented the point. Let's see what he says it.
Yaakov Emden was in Turkey, no?
He moved around. Yeah, Yaakov was not in Turkey. Yaakov Emden was in Europe, in Ukraine, and Poland. Maybe for a while he was also in Turkey, but 1 second. What does it say here? I don't know now. I can't find it now. But the Chassidus always brings the expression like Kim Gematria Teva from the Chacham Tzvi. So that's what the Chacham Tzvi actually says. So in other words, let's go a step back. In when we learn Chassidus, Kim means Helen, Esther, but the simple person who doesn't know all these concepts. Elikim means Erebishter, right? So when you say Elikim, what is the simple meaning of Elikim B'Gematria Teva without going into the Lomdas we had here before? That Havaya is above Teva. But what is similar means Teva is Elikus. So that's that basically what Chacham Tzvi says. Teva is really not really Teva. It's Elikus. It's Nisim from the Eibishter. That's what that's Chacham Tzvi explains in a very simple level. What does Elikim B'Gematria Teva means? That Teva is really, like we said, it's not what is the lesson? It's not Ein Shaychin. It's Ein Shaychin in the Teva Club. Elikim B'Gematria Teva. So according to that explanation, okay, so That's what Chacham Tzvi says in his own context. He describes a teva, nature is really miracles, like we just brought from the Ramban. So that's step one. The male, according to that understanding, not bring back to Chassidus. Chassidus says that Elikim is not just Chassidus, it's based on Rashi. Rashi says Elikim is Sadin. Elikim is not stam Elikus, it's a certain Madregan Elikus. That's Tacht. So the male, so according to that understanding, we say Elikim Matra Teva means that it's hidden godliness within the world. That's understanding number one, what Teva means. Then there's another. So the male, according to that understanding, Teva is really we'll call it Shema Mushal. So another way of saying that the Eibishter controls everything, so that's what Teva means. That's step one. Then there's another shot in Teva. The Teva Meloshna Mishnah, Odom of Sanhedrin. Mishnah says in Sanhedrin that the Odom Teve, the Tev Matbeya, Teveya Kama Matbeya. So Matbeya means a coin. How do you make a coin? You stamp. So Teva is Lashon stamping. Odom Teveya Kama Matbeya V'Choisem Echad. The person creates, a human being creates a bunch of coins. They are all the same stamp. They all look the same. Today we don't know. We hardly use coins, but when you look at a coin, a quarter, a dime, whatever, they all look exactly the same. That's the way. That's the concept of coins.
In other words, in the same. They mint the coin basically. In other words, they do it the same.
Yeah,
the same
mint.
look.
So you take this. They take a stamp, and with that stamp, you create a bunch of coins, right? In the mint. They're equal. They're exactly the same shape. Every quarter looks exactly the same. That's the Lashon Chazal in Sanhedrin, in the Mishnah. Minted every human being should look exactly like the first human being, like Adam Rishon. Ve'ein echad doim el haver. That's the Lashon in the Mishnah and Sanhedrin. That the Eibishter is different than the Eibishter creates a stamp. It's different. They're equal but different. There's not one person is exactly the same shape like the other. Okay, so that's the Lashon Mishnah. But let's not get to us. He just brings the Mishnah for the Rambam. Because the Rambam says, "What is so much Adam Rishon? In what way are we all like Adam Rishon? Tzuras mina Adam, aina Adam basho Adam, va'ainu tzura nafshis sheba." It doesn't mean the physical. That's how the Rambam explains it. That every human being is like Adam Rishon, not in the sense that everybody has a face and hands and a body. It doesn't mean it in the physical sense. Rambam says pshat that tevash matbeya shetova means tzura nafshis. That everybody has the attributes, the soul attributes of Adam Rishon. The male, according to that understanding of the Rambam, matbeya means tzura nafshis. Cain, according to the way this Rambam explains this Mishnah in Cain, what do we get from it? Pirush Teva. So again, according to that, Pshat Teva means, and we have another view of Teva. Teva means since Teva in the Mishnah, according to the Rambam, Matbeya Shetova, he minted, like he said, he stamped. Means that so nafshi is the spiritual form. So the male in Teva in general, think about nature in general. The Teva means the it means the general godly energy that gives life to the world. They serve
How Rambam draw this conclusion? So because he's saying that Adam Rishon, fine, every human being has internal feature like Adam Rishon. So how is it the conclusion that is saying that the whole world Teva is in your Ruchni Shalom?
The Lashon Rambam, Tzur anafshiyut shebo, its spiritual form. That's the lashon of the Rambam. That's what he's saying. The Pirush Rambam, Tzuras mina Adam, Ainu Tzur anafshis shebo, his spiritual form. So from that we learn, from that he derives that the word teva means it's the spiritual nature of the thing. When you talk about teva, that was teva of humans. Same thing as teva in general, based on this Rambam, it says a nupshat in teva. Teva means the spiritual force that makes us that makes us alive. That's the second pshat in teva. Why? Because the Isava canal, the world itself is created yesh ma'ayin. The teva, what is teva? What is nature? Nature means a highest aliki amanig asayim. So yeah, look, the reason I said before it's a second shot because that's what I saw in I think the Rebbe's Maimer also in the Friedrich Rebbe's Maimer. But without that, I would say it's just another way to explain what they said the Chacham Tzvi. The Chacham Tzvi just says that Teva is just a Shema Mushal, that the Teva, when we say laws of nature, means the God before that runs the world, the Nisim. But then another way to say it is that Teva is the Tzur Nafshis, the spiritual force that gives life to the world, that makes the world running. But Yeshlema, then he gives a third pshat. Yeshlema, because you can say another pshat in the word Teva, the Lashon Teva means Lashon Tviyah. Teva also means Lashon Tviyah means drowning. Hamoy tubo b'yamsuf. Say in Oziyasha, or Mifcha Shalish tubo, they drowned. Why is Teva called drowned? Bitnei Shachayis aliki bo b'chinas islapshus tfisa ba'olamis, because this Chayis aliki, this godly life force that gives life to this world, bo b'chinas islapshus tfisa ba'olamis, it's melubash, it's included the world. B'chinas islapshus, a piece of b'chinas islapshus shemachuse v'nelam, it's hidden. It's hidden and concealed, just like when you drown. The concept one of when a person drowns, it's much. That's what's interesting. When a person drowns, it's more than he's concealed. He drowns. He ceases to live. So I think it makes both points here, that it's drowned in the sense that it's covered up. When something drowned, you don't see it, it's drowned, but it's all more than that. Like just like when someone drowns, he ceases to exist. He's so hidden that he doesn't his life force is not seen anymore. I'm not sure about that. So the same thing here. The Chayes Aliki is down. Down means hidden. Then he brings another fourth shot in Teva. I'll bring in another thought on what does it say in Tanya? 1 second, let me bring it up. Second. Let's see. Okay, I brought in another tiny break test. I brought it in Austin in the WhatsApp. Let's see. Here. All right, 1 second. There you go. Okay. So what does it say in tiny break test? Just like this. The Tesis view, to explain better what it said in Perik Yud that every Eid has an actually keys which connect to the Eibishter. Tzorich le'avayir eitem asher kosav neir avayir nishmas odom. It says in Pasuk, in Mishle, neir avayir nishmas odom, the neshama is considered is compared to a candle. Pirush, and the Alter Rebbe says pshat, she'isol hakorim odom. Odom means isol, atem korim odom. Nishmosam l'moshel ka'er haneir. The neshama is compared to the light of a candle. Shemisnaneya tomid l'mayla betivoi. It always moves up. When you look at the fire is always moves up. Because the nature, the nature of the light of the fire wants always to reach the psila, because they say the Isha Kloli is the Milo, and the air wants to connect. But after they say lo yoyer klum lamato, gam lamayla b'shorshi is bat lo yoyer b'shorshi. Despite the fact that if the fire goes up, it's not going to shine. Not only is it not going to shine here, gam lamayla b'shorshi is bat lo yoyer b'shorshi. Like we learned in a few places in our Sefer also. That when the oil is idle, the mile in its church, and the afal bekin bekacho chopetz betiva. That's the nature of the fire, of the candle. Kach nishmas adam, similarly nishmas adam chaypnes loch neshama, chafetzo hasheka betiva lipod v'lotzes v'naguf. The neshama for Eid and the roch nefesh, which is the lower madrigas of the neshama, they all desire to lipod lotzes v'naguf, to leave the body v'lidobek b'shoshem k'el b'Hashem chayim. Hashem Chaya Chaim Baruch Agam Shetia Ein Ve'efes, even though that it's going to turn into nothing, but this bad Hashem Mitzius Alagam Lo Yishem and Umam Musa Vatzmos Harishon African Zeret Zayin V'Chefetz Betiva. So the nature of the neshama is that it wants to expire, to connect to its source. That's the introduction. Now we come to the words that he brings in here, which is negate to us. V'teva zeh, that nature of the neshama and of the ner, hu shema mushel l'chol dovo she'ene, what is the lashon? L'chol dovo she'ene v'pchinas tam v'das. V'gam kana kavona she'orotz mechayfet zeh b'nefesh eine v'pchinas tam v'das v'seichel v'musig v'movot. Elo so basically, the Alter Rebbe says over here that the nature of the neshama to want to expire, to want to escape the body, to expire, to be subsumed in a likus, that's nature. Why? Because the concept of nature is the something which is a mile mitam vadas. So in a way, it's a dead. Okay, the version with teva zes. I put in WhatsApp. There's a special Tanya with Bi'urim Mefol Rabbein. And he brings up from a lot of sources this expression. What is the meaning of these words teva zeh? So the Rebbe writes tzorich. What does that mean? Teva zeh or teva zehu shem amushu. So it's like zehu. So the word teva means. So he brings a lot of sources from the Maimon, from the Rabbeim, that teva in our Maimon is probably one of the sources. Teva zeh shem mushu chodav shemayadas. The word teva itself means something shemayadas. So in a way, if you think about it, it's almost the opposite of what we said all along. All along we said teva means that everything works tubu, it's hidden, it's hiding elikus. But in Tanya means Teva means the opposite. Teva expresses the fact that it's the Maila Mitam Vadas. Okay, so we'll continue this concept.
So it's Mistama is saying because we don't understand that the neshama is or anything that's going towards higher source, and we don't understand why and what is it. Mistama, that's why it says it's not comprehensible by us.
Right. That's shot. It's against its nature. You do something against the nature. The nature of every being is to want to exist. You do something against it. Against it. It's called nature, but it's against against your own being. You want to be the Eilan wants to be it. So he says, no, I want to escape. I want to expire. That's why it's the Malam Mitam Vadas. Okay,
So it's not really against the first Peshat. I mean,
okay, we'll soon. You're right. Okay, so tomorrow we'll revisit this point. Okay.
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 Yeah.